we will go to our next eminent speaker, who happens to be Rahul Rosha, co-founder of Novik. I hope I pronounced Novik rightly. And Rahul, I think that as I see it, it's more a startup. I've been in this field of startups, so it looks to me a very fascinating thing to know how a startup is realigning itself in this post-COVID era. Over to you, Rahul.
All right. Can everybody hear me?
We can hear you. We can't see you.
Yeah, unfortunately, we've got some technical glitches, so I've had to abandon my laptop and switch to a old-fashioned monitor. So
That's
apologize.
bad indeed. People can't hear you, see you talking. We can only have the audio on, it seems. Please go ahead, Rahul.
Yeah, so first of all, I just like to thank everybody for the opportunity to be with such a distinguished audience this evening. So thank you all, and great. It's a pleasure to be here. Like you were saying, we are in a very interesting proposition. So just to give a very quick top line, so Novik Health was started in 2016. We are a very innovative startup in that we are focused on type 2 diabetes reversal, which many people or most people believe to be a chronic progressive disease. So we've had not just the challenge of establishing and creating a market, but also being able to hold a leadership position within that market. And then, of course, COVID happens. And as everybody who's come before me has said, it's a transformational time. And for us, yes, it does seem at times that it is moments of crisis, but we equally see tremendous upside and opportunity in this so-called new normal that we're all beginning to see. There are some very important lessons that we've learned as we've emerged and gone through this crisis. And I know we'll speak a bit more about this later. But number one, we do believe that branding has become even more important. The ability to connect with consumers in new and different ways, to be seen as trusted advisors and advocates, to be able to nurture those relationships has become extremely important. Uh, we think it's also a question of innovate or die. So at moments like these, there is a natural inclination for companies to scale back. They scale back investment, they scale back their workforces, and they sort of shrink in terms of their overall ambitions. But what we believe is in this situation, innovation is the name of the game, and it has to be targeted, focused innovation. So in our case, for example, we are looking at new offerings, which hopefully I'll get to talk about later, that are in sync with the state of the consumer and the state of the market dynamic as we see it currently. We are looking at new channels to distribute our products and offerings. We have doubled down on improving our expertise. We've in fact filed 3 patents in the last month alone. And we have also, in this era of scarce cash and scarce resources that any one given organization has, been able to nurture a series of partnerships both in India and abroad to make sure that we keep our innovative edge alive. So we definitely see the challenge that lies in front of us, but we'd like to focus more on the opportunity and more as seeing this as a transformational moment where we can really upend the traditional status quo and really establish ourselves as a leader in this emerging space. With that, I'd like to yield back the time and would love the opportunity to answer a few questions later on.
Thank you, Rahul. How, Rahul, you've been using a unique technology for diabetes reversal program and your business model, and being innovation focused has been your key parameters as a startup, and how you're going to take it forward in this post-COVID era. Over to you, Rahul.
All right, thank you. So that is actually a bunch of questions rolled into one, but I'll try and be direct and to the point.
Thank you so much, Rahul.
You're welcome. So I think the challenge for us pre-COVID was to build awareness around diabetes reversal as a legitimate standard of care and establish a leadership position. Now, what we have seen given COVID are changes, fundamental changes in consumer behavior. So as you look at the Indian consumer and even cast a wider glance internationally, we've seen three phases of the pandemic, from escalation, accumulation to early recovery. And what we've been doing in terms of innovation is we've invested in original research to understand the pulse of the diabetic in the current situation, and we've gleaned significant insights into what their motivations are, what their key purchasing motivations are, and we've designed products to cater to those specific needs. So aside from offering the traditional diabetes reversal program, we've started programs on boosting immunity, because that has come up as a significant concern with diabetics, because they're at a greater risk of developing serious complications. So we've had product innovations that we've rolled out. We have established new channels, given that trust is an important factor. So whether it is partnering with established providers to give us that credibility and that branding, or whether it is partnering with nutritionists to get the word out and increase awareness and get closer to the customer, we've been doing that. We've changed our business model. We've adopted a very light variable cost structure. We've developed innovative partnerships that allow us to bring expertise to bear on a variety of topics related to nutrition, which is really, at the end of the day, our core area of expertise. It is really using therapeutic nutrition and behavioral coaching that we reverse type 2 diabetes. So we made inroads in that, and we are in the midst of publishing new articles to again boost awareness, build our brand, given our competitors who've started to maintain a somewhat lower profile. We've done the opposite. And like I mentioned upfront, we've tried to bolster our capabilities and punch above our weight through establishing very select both Indian and international partnerships in critical areas surrounding our core offering. So those are the kinds of things that we've been up to that we believe position us well in this COVID environment.
Thank you, Rahul. I'm going to go to Rahul now to ask him how machine intelligence is helping healthcare providers to fight the pandemic, how the COVID problem has already changed healthcare technology, and what's next, Rahul, in this journey?
Certainly. So let me start by talking a bit about where we are seeing the impact of AI and related technologies right now. So when you look at the population level, I think somebody earlier was talking, I think it was Ritu, who was talking about government efforts at contact tracing, being able to predict potential hotspots, being able to project where there might be a sudden upsurge in terms of the pandemic, marshalling equipment, projecting where there would be need for ventilators and other PPE, personal protective equipment. That's another area where AI is being used. Certainly in terms of vaccine development, in terms of identifying potential vaccines to pursue further, drugs that may hold promise against COVID-19. So those are some things that AI is been intricately involved with at the population level. Certainly at the individual level, there have been various efforts to equip individuals to do risk assessments, whether it is in terms of the risk of catching the coronavirus and avoiding those risks, or whether it is the risk of developing serious complications if you have an underlying condition. So those are all areas where AI has been a significant contributor. I think when you look ahead, there are a few different areas where you can see AI emerging and playing a bigger role. So certainly in terms of vigilance efforts and spotting future pandemics and being able to virtually cordon off certain geographies is a lesson that one has learned through this current pandemic. So AI will be deployed in the future. I think another trend that will get accelerated, which is certainly happening in the Western world, is the personalization of medicine, and or precision medicine as it's called, where treatments would be tailored and personalized to your individual conditions. Um, we have also spoken about telemedicine taking off, and that certainly looks like a trend that's here to stay. But I think one of the other underlying related areas is this notion of remote continuous care. So, for example, in our own company, when people enroll in our diabetics program, we use mobile apps to monitor the enrollee 24/7. And that is going to be a trend that is only going to accelerate as the Internet of Things sort of gains adoption, as more point of stay devices become available to monitor temperature and other vitals. So we think remote continuous care will also become significant. I think all of these are positive developments. The one area that stands out as one of potential concern is when you look at apps like Arogya Setu and others in other countries, there is a lot of personal information being collected, and there is this legitimate fear of us and other countries possibly turning into surveillance states. So that is another area where AI can be used or slash misused in terms of not being able to protect patient privacy to the extent that's necessary. But I think in general, net being able to spot and control future pandemics, personalized nutrition, and remote continuous care, those would be the sort of big trends that I see coming up.